everyone, and good evening. Welcome to the Linglobe channel. This time, we'll be bringing you content about preserving the world's languages for the future. Please enjoy it to the end.
Welcome to Linglobe Voice. Imagine for a second that your entire social status, your life savings, and even your religious salvation were all intimately tied to a single living, breathing animal.
Right, yeah. Not a bank account, but a herd.
Exactly. You don't have property lines, you have the open plains. For the Maasai people, this isn't some poetic metaphor. It's just everyday reality. So today, we're exploring the rich history, language, and culture of this internationally recognized indigenous group from East Africa.
And to do that, we're relying on some amazing sources today.
Yeah, in the Linglobe materials, we have this incredible collection of insights that peel back the layers of this fascinating society. And our mission today is really to synthesize all of this for you, the listener, so you get a complete picture. So let's just jump right in. Slide 1, the Maasai people, guardians of the rift.
Yeah, if you look at the visual provided in our materials for this one, just note the striking image of the warriors standing on the vast yellow savanna against a setting sun.
It's such a grounding image, right? It perfectly sets the stage for understanding who the Maasai truly are.
It really does. And to understand how they survive and thrive out there, we have to look at how they interact with the earth itself. Which brings us to slide 2. The living landscape.
Right.
The Maasai are indigenous to the sweeping plains of southern Kenya and northern Tanzania. And what's fascinating here is that they live a deeply rooted, semi-nomadic pastoralist lifestyle.
Meaning they don't just, sit on a plot of land and farm it.
Exactly. They move. Their entire societal structure, their daily rhythms, their migration patterns, all of it is dictated by the land around them, the shifting wet and dry seasons and the immediate needs of their herds.
I was thinking about this. For you and me, the listener, time is usually measured by a rigid clock on the wall, right?
Yeah.
Or a digital calendar pinging us.
Oh, definitely.
But for the Maasai, time is measured by the pulse of the earth. Is measured by when the heavy rains finally break the dry spell, or when the fresh grass shoots up, and when the cattle need to be moved to find that fresh water. They are completely synchronized with their environment.
Yes, completely synchronized.
And that deep connection was forged over an incredibly long, arduous journey. Slide 3. From the Nile to the Savannah.
Ah, yes, the migration.
Right. In the Linglobe materials, we see that the Maasai actually migrated southward from the Nile Valley, which is present-day South Sudan. And this massive movement happened around the 15th to 17th centuries.
Yeah, before they finally settled in the East African Rift Valley. And if we connect this to the bigger historical picture, this incredible journey established them as the southernmost Eastern Nilotic-speaking people.
Wow, the southernmost.
Yeah. Traversing that kind of severe terrain, dealing with shifting climates, harsh droughts, and entirely new ecosystems, it really shaped their distinct warrior-based pastoral society. I mean, you have to adapt instantly to survive that kind of environmental pressure.
But that raises a thought for me, and I want to push back on the sheer logistics of this for a second.
Okay, go ahead.
You don't just pack up and walk across the unforgiving East African terrain for 2 centuries without things falling apart. I mean, you're dealing with apex predators, lack of water, competing groups. How did the sheer pressures of moving such vast distances historically forge such a resilient, protective culture? It seems like it would either destroy a community entirely or, I don't know, forge them into steel.
Well, it absolutely forged them into steel. The survival of the herd meant the survival of the people, right? So they had to develop a society where protection of the collective was the highest possible virtue.
Makes sense.
And that unity is literally built right into their name. Slide 4, the people who speak Maa.
I love this part.
It's so interesting, right? The word Maasai literally translates to exactly that, the people who speak Maa. It belongs to the broader Nilo-Saharan language family, which is this massive linguistic group reflecting an ancient network of nomadic peoples.
And today, Maa is spoken by about 1.5 million people, right?
Exactly. And what is remarkable is that even with different regional dialects separated by vast distances, like Ukasonko in Tanzania or Ilperco in Kenya, they remain mutually intelligible.
I am absolutely fascinated by this. I want you to think about how remarkable it is that the Maasai identity is defined fundamentally by a shared spoken language rather than a rigid geographical border or a drawn line on a map.
Yeah, it's not about geography at all.
Right. You don't belong to the Maasai because you live within a certain fenced-in territory. You belong to the people because you speak the language of the people.
Precisely.
But speaking that language is no small feat mechanically. Let's look at slide 5. Grammar and phonological features of Maa.
This is where it gets really complex.
Yet the language features 9 distinct vowels and 25 consonants, including these incredibly rare implosive sounds. Structurally, it uses a verb-subject-object order. Okay, wait, let's unpack this. I need an explanation here.
Sure.
What does implosive sounds actually mean mechanically in the throat? Like, how does that sound compared to English?
Well, it is entirely different from English. In English, when you make a B or a P sound, you push air out of your lungs. That's an explosive sound.
Okay, I'm with you.
An implosive sound means you are literally drawing air inward into your mouth as you speak. It creates this distinct, rhythmic, almost percussive gulping sound in the throat.
Wow, that's wild.
Furthermore, Ma relies heavily on tonal distinctions, so high, mid, and low tones. A simple change in pitch can completely alter both the grammatical structure and the lexical meaning of a word.
So it's like a linguistic combination lock.
That's a good way to put it.
The pitch of your voice is the exact click that unlocks the actual meaning of the sentence. Imagine speaking Maa is like singing a highly complex, precise melody. If you miss a note, or if your pitch is just slightly off, you aren't just mispronouncing a word, you might be changing the entire story you're trying to tell.
Exactly. It requires such an incredible ear for musicality in everyday conversation.
Right.
And that musicality carries profound philosophical meaning too, as we see in slide 6, naming the world and the divine.
The prefix system.
Yes. Ma nouns use a specific prefix system to denote gender and number. Masculine nouns generally use ol, like Old Donyo for mountain. Feminine nouns use en, like onkai.
Right. And in the Linglove materials, we learned that Enkai means God, but it also directly translates to the universe and the sky itself.
Yes, it is a central concept in their spirituality. The divine isn't some abstract figure sitting in a distant realm. It is the physical, encompassing sky above them.
Because the sky brings the rain.
Exactly. The sky brings the rain grows the grass, and the grass feeds the cattle, which sustains the people.
I love the profound philosophy embedded right there in their grammar. The ultimate divine presence is feminine, and it is inherently linguistically connected to the vast sky stretching over the savannah. You really cannot separate their environment from their theology.
You really can't.
Let's hear how that theology bleeds into daily life on slide 7, Voices of the Savannah.
This is great. Essential everyday greetings include sopa for hello, ash for thank you, and naisai for good morning.
But the most revealing greeting, I think, is the phrase for nice to meet you, which is in our Enkai.
Yes, that one is special.
I was so struck by this detail when I read it. You literally invoke the universe, or God, Enkai, just to say it's a pleasure to meet someone.
Yeah, it's powerful.
You aren't just offering a casual pleasantry. You are bringing the divine into that interpersonal connection. It really shows you how their daily routine interactions are just steeped in deep spiritual respect for one another.
And that respect extends deeply to their livestock, which brings us to slide 8, the sacred bond with cattle.
The absolute center of their universe.
Completely. They represent the ultimate economy and currency. They determine a family's social status. They are vital for marriage dowries, and they are completely central to traditional religious ceremonies honoring Enkai.
Here's where it gets really interesting for me. If you try to translate this into modern terms, cattle for the Maasai act as Wall Street, your social media status, and your religious totems, all rolled into one living, breathing creature.
That is a perfect analogy.
Right. Because let's look at how that actually works. If you want to marry, you don't buy a ring, you present cattle to the bride's family to prove you can provide.
Exactly.
If you want to thank Enkai for the rain, the cattle are part of the ritual. Your entire worth, socially and spiritually, is tied to the physical well-being of your herd.
And guarding that wealth requires intense dedication, as we see in slide 9, the path of the Moran.
Right. The age-set system.
Yes, Maasai society relies on a very strict age-set system. You have the youth and the livestock,
Yeah.
then the Moran, or warrior class, who are the primary protectors undergoing initiation.
And then the elders, right?
Yes, the elders, who provide community leadership. But the Moran phase is absolutely pivotal. These young men undergo rigorous initiation, living and training together apart from the main village in a camp called a Manyatta.
Wait, hold on. Let me challenge this. You are taking all the young, strong men in their physical prime, giving them weapons, and separating them from the main village.
Yeah.
Historically speaking, isolating a massive group of heavily armed young men sounds like a recipe for a volatile subsociety. Doesn't that create chaos? Like, how do the elders possibly keep them in check?
That is exactly why the age-set system is so strictly governed by psychological conditioning and absolute reverence for the elders. The elders control the ceremonies, they control the rites of passage, and they control the eventual transition into adulthood, where these men can marry and own their own herds.
So they hold the keys to their future.
Exactly. The Morans are taught that their strength is useless if it isn't submitted to the wisdom of the community.
That is fascinating. I want you to imagine an entire phase of your life, your prime years, fully dedicated to the collective protection of your community, completely sacrificing your own individualism for the greater good of the people.
And while the men protect the community, let's look at who actually builds it. Slide 10. The architecture of the Manyatta.
Oh, this is so cool.
Traditional Maasai homes are called Manyattas. They are incredibly ingenious, climate-adapted structures built from local wood, mud, and cow dung. But what is crucial culturally is that it is the women who take the primary role in designing and building these homes.
I love the beautiful contrast here. In a society that is so famous worldwide for its fierce male warrior class, it is actually the women who literally build the foundation and the physical shelter of the community with their own hands.
That's true.
And I want to touch on the mechanics of that cow dung because, it sounds strange to a Western ear, but it is architectural genius. Dung provides brilliant thermal mass in the Savannah.
It really does.
It dries into this hard shell that absorbs the blistering heat during the day, keeping the inside cool, and then radiates that heat at night when the temperature plummets.
Exactly.
And we see more of that brilliant functional design in slide 11, the colors of bravery.
Yes, this covers their iconic visual identity.
In the Ling Glove materials, they describe the vibrant red cloth they wear, called the shuka. Picture that bright, striking red against the dry yellow grass of the plains. It's instantly recognizable, and it symbolizes bravery, blood, and the vitality of life.
And their intricate beadwork is equally symbolic. If we look closely at the mechanics of the colors, blue beads represent the vast sky, connecting directly back to Enkai.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and green beads represent the nourishing land and the pasture needed for the cattle.
So Maasai attire isn't just fashion or decoration. When you look at a Maasai person fully adorned, you are looking at a wearable, color-coded map of their most sacred values: the blood of the people, the sky of the divine, and the grass of the earth.
And those values are celebrated physically, too. Slide 12. The Adumu dance.
Ah, the famous jumping dance.
Exactly. It is traditionally performed during major rites of passage, such as the Unodo, the massive ceremony which marks the transition from warrior to adult. It's a highly competitive display of physical strength, rhythm, and readiness.
Right, the warriors form a circle, and one by one, they jump as high as possible. But the mechanics of it are wild. They have to jump without their heels ever touching the ground when they land. You just hear the rhythmic chanting and the heavy thud of the balls of their feet hitting the earth.
Yes, and achieving great height without the heels touching symbolizes ultimate courage and athletic control. It also serves as an incredibly attractive display in courtship.
It's basically like a high-stakes athletic combine mixed with a social debut. It shows you exactly how athleticism, bravery, and romance completely intertwine in their culture.
Yes, intertwined perfectly.
And that athleticism has very practical roots, shown in slide 13. Mastery of the spear and club.
Yes, the spear was historically vital for defense against predators and for hunting. Wielding it requires immense upper body strength, but also incredible full body coordination.
I mean, you are throwing a heavy iron blade attached to a wooden counterweight. It takes massive kinetic energy.
They also practice with the urinka, a traditional club. This is used for pinpoint accuracy and agility in the bush. These aren't just symbolic weapons or ceremonial props. They are essential tools requiring lethal precision.
Right, because mastering these tools historically wasn't a hobby. It was quite literally the line between life and death for the entire village. If a lion threatened the herd at night, the Moran had to be ready instantly, with muscle memory dictating their throw.
And preparation for that kind of intense responsibility starts incredibly early. Slide 14, the play of pastoralists.
To the kids' games.
Exactly. Maasai children's games are direct reflections of their pastoral destiny. They build miniature village replicas out of dirt, and they craft little animal figurines from clay.
I noticed this in the Lynn Globe materials. It's so clear that they are actively mimicking cattle herding and village life in their games. They aren't just making generic shapes, they are identifying different types of livestock.
Exactly. Playtime is highly functional. It's an early cognitive mapping of their adult responsibilities.
It's fascinating because for Maasai kids, playtime isn't an escape or a distraction from the real world. It's an active, essential apprenticeship. They are using play to physically and mentally prepare themselves for the very real roles they're going to step into.
That's spot on.
And speaking of adapting those roles, let's look at slide 15. From lion hunting to Maasai Olympics.
This is a great modern development.
Yeah, historically, hunting a lion, called Olamayo, was a massive rite of passage for warriors. You proved your bravery by facing an apex predator. But due to modern wildlife conservation pressures and the dwindling lion population, this tradition has ingeniously evolved into the Maasai Olympics, which was established in 2012.
It is a brilliant cultural shift. Conservationists worked with the Maasai elders to create an event that preserves the prestige of the Moran. The games include spear throwing, club throwing, and high jumping.
Right.
It promotes sportsmanship and physical excellence, substituting a javelin target for a lion while actively reducing human-wildlife conflict.
So what does this all mean? To me, it shows the incredible adaptability of the Maasai culture. How do you shift a cultural cornerstone without losing your identity? You preserve the core of your warrior spirit, but you channel it to become modern champions of conservation.
Which brings us to our final point, slide 16, an enduring spirit.
Wow, already.
Yeah. The Maasai remain one of the most vibrant, recognizable indigenous cultures in East Africa today. While many continue the traditional semi-nomadic pastoral lifestyle we've detailed, others are heavily engaged in modern tourism, education, and urban employment.
It's incredible to see how they beautifully balance their ancient oral traditions, their complex language, and those sacred life-giving bonds with their herds against the very modern challenges of land rights and climate change. They are truly guarding the Rift Valley for future generations. Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching until the end. We will continue to bring you many more languages from around the world. Please subscribe to our channel. See you next time on the Ling Globe channel.